We're about to journey back in time, back to a world that was teetering right on the edge of oblivion, a world that was just consumed by darkness. Now, this is a story so ancient it almost feels like a myth, but its message, a message of faith, of obedience, and of ultimate hope, well, that resonates with a profound reality, even for us today.
To really get the story of Noah, you have to first understand the world he lived in. And the scriptures paint a really grim picture. We're talking about an earth that was just saturated with violence, where every single person lived only for themselves, a world where evil had completely captured the human heart. And this deep, deep corruption, it didn't go unnoticed. It actually grieved the heart of God.
But, even in the middle of all that darkness, amidst the deep shadow of humanity's failure, there was this single point of light. While pretty much everyone else had forgotten who they were, completely lost in the demands of their own flesh and the lure of sin, this one man remembered. He held on to the truth.
His name was Noah, and it was through his singular obedience that humanity was given a second chance, a chance to begin all over again. You see, this isn't just a tale about survival. It's a really profound look at what a relationship with God can look like, one that held firm against the crushing weight of a corrupted world.
And it was exactly that relationship that led to the greatest challenge of Noah's life. One day, a pivotal day, God spoke directly to him. And the instructions he received, well, they weren't a suggestion. They were a command that would seem to defy all logic.
The instructions were so clear, but just staggering in their scale. Build an ark, a vast, great boat of wood. For a catastrophic flood is coming. A flood that is ordained to wash away every last trace of corruption from the face of the earth.
I mean, can you just imagine the sheer weight of that command? A flood of this scale had never, ever been seen before. In fact, some sources even suggest that rain itself might have been a totally unknown phenomenon. So how do you prepare for a catastrophe you can't even begin to imagine?
And yet, despite how impossible it all seemed, despite the fact that there was zero physical evidence, the crucial point, the very heart of this story is this: Noah believed. That simple act of trust, right in the face of what must have been universal disbelief, that changes everything.
But here's the thing about Noah's faith. It wasn't just some internal feeling he had. It was an action. It was a verb. It was something he had to physically build, day after grueling day for decades.
Just try to picture the scene. While the whole world was likely watching him, mocking this strange carpenter and his family, Noah simply built. As all the ridicule and all the doubt just swirled around him, he just kept working.
You see, every single nail he hammered, every precisely placed plank, every silent drop of sweat on his brow, this wasn't just labor. It was a sermon. It was faith in relentless action, a physical testament to a promise that he could not yet see.
And this illustrates a spiritual truth that is just so profound. Sometimes, genuine faith looks like utter foolishness to the world. It doesn't make any logical sense. It can seem wasteful, even crazy, until the moment the rain finally begins to fall.
And then, after all those years of labor and ridicule, the rain began to fall. The unbelievable was actually happening, and the world was on the cusp of a permanent, terrifying change.
First, the creatures started to assemble. In perfect, orderly lines, they just appeared, 2 by 2. Elephants, lions, every kind of bird, all of them guided by some unseen hand right into the ark. The world watched, stunned into silence. I mean, the signs were undeniable, but tragically, belief still didn't follow. And then, the very first drop of rain fell.
Then another drop fell, and then, all at once, the promise became a terrifying reality. The sky opened up, the depths of the ocean burst forth, and everything that had once seemed so powerful and strong, the cities, the structures, the pride of man, it was all mercilessly washed away. But inside that ark, protected by the obedience of one man and the promise of God, Noah and his family were profoundly safe. Outside, the entire world as they knew it was utterly gone.
For 40 days and 40 nights, and that number, 40, so often in Scripture signifies a period of intense testing, the storm raged on. The ark endured, not because it was a perfect human construction, but because of the perfect faithfulness of the one who commanded it to be built.
And then, after the judgment had passed, one glorious morning dawned in absolute, perfect silence. The torrential rain, it had stopped. The mighty waters began their slow retreat.
The storm was over. And what came next wasn't an ending. Not at all. It was a new beginning. A beginning that would be marked by a divine promise. One that would stretch across the sky for all future generations to see.
So first, the great ark came to rest gently on the peaks of Mount Ararat. Then, in this beautiful act of hope, Noah sent out a dove, and it returned with a fresh olive leaf, a timeless, universal sign of peace and new life. And finally, when Noah and his family stepped out onto dry land, they entered a world that had been completely reborn, fresh, quiet, and just filled with promise.
And in that moment, God established an eternal covenant. This was a sacred promise, spoken not just to Noah, but to all of us, to all generations to come. Never again will I destroy the earth by flood. This was a clear shift from judgment to an enduring grace.
And as a permanent, visible confirmation of this incredible vow, he placed a rainbow high up in the sky. And it wasn't just some beautiful atmospheric phenomenon. No, it was a seal. It was a promise of mercy, a powerful, breathtaking reminder of his unchanging love.
So, after all that, why does this ancient story really matter to us right here, right now? Well, it's because the principle of the ark, it's timeless. It speaks directly to the storms that each one of us faces in our own lives. This ancient story really prompts a very modern question. Is God asking you to build an ark in your own life? To take that step of faith that seems illogical? To prepare and to obey when the skies are perfectly clear, long before any storm ever appears on the horizon? Because true faith, you see, it always precedes the miracle. The ultimate takeaway, the thing to really hold on to, is this. The very same God who guided Noah through that world-altering flood is the exact same one who can guide you through your personal storms. Your circumstances? Yeah, they're different, but his faithfulness is not. So keep building and keep believing. And when you feel overwhelmed, when the clouds start to gather, just remember the promise. It is as true for you today as it was for Noah all those years ago. A promise of mercy, a reminder of love, set forever in the clouds.